Hi, in this video tutorial, I am going to discuss about the data table in QTP. So in this video tutorial, we will mainly focus what is the data table, what are the type of data table, the instances of the data table, how to configure data table value in your script, and how to parameterize the value. Also, in this video tutorial, we will learn how to pass the value from the different method in your script. So what is data table? Data table is nothing just like a spreadsheet, look like Excel, from where an automation test engineer pass the value in the application under test, and he may pass the value like for edit box, which checkbox he wants to check on, which radio button he wants to select, which radio button he wants to deselect, which checkbox he wants to deselect, which value from drop down he wants to select. So these values can be entered in QTP data table, and when we run our script, our script will select those values from our data table. And what are the types of the data table? So here we can see that there are two types of data table. The first one is the design time data table, and another one is the runtime data table. So design time data table, it means when the automation test engineer insert some value in the data table, in the QTP data table, while he was developing his script. So at that time, whatever the value he inserted in the data table, that is known as a design time data table. And if automation engineers want some value from the application, he wants to capture some value from the application to see that whatever the value he has been entered is the correct value, or the correct value is being displayed in our application, or the value whatever that I am going to insert from our design time data table is the same value in the application. So he can export those values from the application to the runtime data table to check that everything or the data whatever we have inserted in our application during run is that same value while the application is running. This is the, you can say, the description about the design time and the runtime data table. But again, one of the major difference between design time and runtime is an automation engineer can edit the design time data table value, but he cannot edit the runtime data table value, because QTP does not allow automation engineer to edit the runtime data table value. And in both the data table, if we open our QTP, so at a first look we can see that is one data table is being displayed below the test pane. That data table look like a Excel or Excel type Excel sheet, but when we see thoroughly to that sheet, then there are two instances of that. Just like in Excel, if you open Excel, the by default Excel is displaying seed 1, seed 2 and seed 3. So in our global data table, that is when we open our QTP window, so by default it is displaying a global and action 1. Global, it means that we can pass those value, those test data, whatever we have inserted in our global test data in n number of script. But in action 1, we cannot pass the value which is inserted in action 1 data table in our other scripts. It means for the same application, or if I am going to test a single application, so if I put some value in global data table, so we can pass those values in our different modules as well, until unless that module name or module added box or field value name is similar as mentioned in our data table. But in action 1 script, we cannot pass that value in our other scripts, because that action 1 value is completely dependent upon that particular script. Like an example in QTP, we can see here that there are two type of data table, two instances of data table, global and action. So in global, we can pass value for our n number of script. Like this is the test 1, so we can pass this value in test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4 and test n. If in test n or test 2 or test 3, that field value name is A or B or whatever C. But in action 1, if I insert any value, field value name is A, and we have generated a script for the action 1, so we cannot pass these action 1 value in our global scripts. So this is the main difference between the global and action 1 script data table. Now, if I am how to configure the data table value in your script, so we have two methods. QTP allows us to insert data table value in our script by two methods. One is for keyword view and one is for expert view. So this is the keyword view and this is the expert view. We will do a simple example to insert the value from keyword view as well as from the expert view. So for that, we will check that what is the difference between the keyword view and while we applying data table value through expert view. And after that, we will parameterize those values, whatever we have inserted in our data table. So first I am going to configure our data table value through keyword view. So here I am generating an script So this is our basic script. In this script, I am going to use the system utility function of run, and through that run I am going to open Internet Explorer, and in line 11 I have mentioned that browser name equal to dot star. It means I am using regular expression, and I am using sync. It means that I am telling QTP that wait till that time. Once the Google IE Explorer is uploaded, then do not execute the line 12. When the line 12 is being once the line 11 is being synced or browser gets upload, then navigate to google.com, or let's change it yahoo.com, and after that it will navigate to yahoo.com, and then I am asking it to just stop the script. So now I am going to run my script. So here I can say that it opened the IE Explorer and it waits till sync, and now this pop-up window occurs. That's why it could not open the yahoo.com. So I am just going to apply some weight at here, or just first run it once again. Now it opens the google.com and my QTP script gets stopped. So now this is the constant value which I am going to pass in our script. But if I want to open gmail.com or rediff.com or any other website, so for that purpose we will do the parameterization. So first of all we will know how to insert value from, how to execute, change this value from our data table and through keyword view. So in keyword view, if I see that I am going to navigate this yahoo.com, so it means this is the value of our URL. So I am going to change this URL value to some other browser name. Like, since this is a fixed value in our expert view, that's why it is displaying constant value in yahoo.com. I am going to parameterize this value. I am going to change this value from the data table, because there are three type of parameterization available in the QTP. Once we click on this parameter, we can see data table, environment variable, or through random number you want to parameterize. So in this tutorial I am discussing about the data table parameterization. So just select data table and it is asking that name. It means this is the data table of our QTP window. So it is asking that from which column name you want to parameterize. So I am giving the name as a URL. Again it will ask you that from which data table, the global or from action 1, that is local. I am going to parameterize or change the URL value from the global. So I just check on global and click on OK. So now we can see that in our data table the A column name gets changed to URL and the value which was passed as a constant value is reflecting at here. And once we see our script, it is displaying as a navigate data table. It means from data table and the URL column and from which sheet, that is a global sheet. It means the data table global sheet. Now I am going to change this value to Gmail. And now I am going to run my script again to check that is it opening the Gmail or it is still opening the Yahoo, because earlier we have passed the value Yahoo. Now here we can see that now it is opening the Gmail value. So this way we can pass the value from our data table through keyword view, and if you want to pass the value from our script view, then we can also apply these codes that navigate data table, URL and global sheet. But if you wanna give some more other information, then first we need to initialize one variable, and I am going to initialize one variable through dim, because QTP supports one of the scripting language is VB. So in VB scripting language there is no different type of data types. VB scripting only support variant type of data type. So through dim we can initialize. So I am going to initialize our URL, that is a text. So I put T URL. Now I am going to, this is a variable. Now I am going to put some value for this variable. So under T URL, what is my motive? To pass the value from the data table. So under T URL, I am assigning the value from our data table. So I am giving this T URL the path from where it could get the value. So from T URL as I am assigning the value data table dot value. It means the data QTP will search for TURL value from the data table value, and if I give the parenthesis, it will ask me parameter ID. It means from which column I am going to pass the value. So this is the URL column name, so I am giving it to in double quotes URL. Again it is saying this is the optional. Why it is optional? Because if I don't say QTP that pass the value from which date instances, that QTP, in that case QTP always use its global data table. But if I want to pass the value from the local seat, then I have to assign it DT local seat. But since here I am assigning the value from the global seat, so here I am giving DT global seat. This is the seat ID, that is global, and DT stands for data table global seat. Now this is my code where I want to navigate not from the data table, because I have already assigned some variable at here. Under that variable it should open this value. So here I am going to put the variable name. Okay, now I am going to enter at here, let's say timesofindia.com, indiatimes.com, sorry. And once the QTP will run, so first time it will open the iExplore, it means Internet Explorer, and then it will pass the value of gmail.com. And because here I am going to order QTP to navigate this TURL, and QTP will search TURL. It means this is that is not under double quotes. It means this is not the constant value. It is a string value and also not in parenthesis, not in double quotes. It means that is a variable value. So it will again check that if this is a variable, then where this variable value is assigned. So it will check that okay, this variable value is assigned from the data table value, and from which column data table, that is the URL column from the data table. So it will first open the gmail.com, and later on it will open the indiatimes.com. But before that I am going to close gmail.com browser. So I am again adding one more steps. Dot close, and first let it be upload a gmail.com. So I am again going to syncing that page name. What it means, here I did not sync the Gmail or Google or whatever. but here I am going to sync the page. It means that once the QTP will open the Internet Explorer, I want to first upload whatever the feature of the Internet Explorer by default. First it will upload. Till that time QTP will wait, should wait, and once this URL, it means gmail.com, QTP is navigating, so till that time it should wait that until unless Gmail is not going uploaded, it should wait till that time, and if that is uploaded, then close that particular browser and again it will open the iExplorer. So for that I am going to close this browser. There is no iExplorer open. Now I am going to run. So first it opens the Google Mail and it closes the Google Mail. Now again it opens the Internet Explorer. And now it is opening the indiatimes.com. If we see our QTP, still it is running because it is taking time to upload that browser because the progress bar is running. Now once the progress bar is finished, it will close the browser. So we cannot see that page. So this way we can parameterize a different type of value from our data table. So we got the answer for how to parameterize the value through data table. But what is parameterization? The parameterization is to check your application behavior through different type of test data. That's why we do the parameterization. If you have any question, then you can email us at testingexpert@3technologies.com. Thank you for watching.